Hey guys, my name is Gabby, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a video about my favorite authors. These are 10 of my favorite authors. These are the authors that I've read the most books from, which is how I know that they're my favorite. This doesn't necessarily mean that these authors have all 5-star books. Like, I've definitely read some books by these authors and have been disappointed by them. Like, I don't think there's one author out there that I love every single one of their books. Like, but these are the 10 authors that I have read the most from and enjoyed 99% of their content most of the time. I'm gonna be telling you how many books I've read from this author and then some of my favorite books from said author. So I'm gonna start this off with an author who I consider to be my favorite author, and that is Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have read all 6 of her published books and her 1 published novella that she currently has out. I do have to say that my #1 favorite book that she has published currently is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I know I'm such a basic bitch, but this one wasn't always my favorite. Like, I discovered her before this book came out. But yeah, she has so many great books. I think my second runner-up would have to be Maybe in Another Life, because this one was my favorite before Evelyn Hugo came out, but they're both vastly different too, because this one is more like historical fiction, or kind of feels even like literary fiction like, and then this one's like more contemporary women's fiction. It also has One True Loves and After I Do, which I just love so much. So all of her books are really great. All right, my second most read author is Colleen Hoover, which I've read 17 books from Colleen Hoover. I mean, some were collaborative works with Tarryn Fisher because I read the Never Never series and all that, but still, 17 books. She's by far my most read author. So out of all those 17 books that I read, I think my #1 favorite is still It Ends With Us. This book just like slays so much, and Atlas is like one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. Very recently though, she published Verity, which was like her first thriller novel, and this one jumped to the top of my favorites list from her. Like, I just really love this book, and I wish she would write more thrillers after reading this. Like, this was so freaking good. Some other ones that I really love from her are Ugly Love and All Your Perfects. I think both of these are a lot more emotional romances, especially All Your Perfects. My third most read author is Christina Lauren, who I've read 12 books from this author, so that's really exciting. And of those 12 books, I have 3 favorites. The first one is Autobiography, because this is the only young adult male romance that they've ever written, and it just means so much to me, and this book is everything, and it's so cute, and it's basically like Fangirl meets Simon versus the Homo Sapiens agenda. My 2 favorites are The Unhoneymooners and Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating. These 2 books are just so freaking good, and they're some of their more recently published books, so I feel like they just keep improving and improving with every single book, and I just love their writing so much, and their characters just feel so real and charming and witty, and I just I eat that shit up, okay? Love it. My 4th favorite author on this list is Tarryn Fisher, who I've read 6 books from. I mean, 3 of them were collaborative works with Colleen Hoover, so we're talking about the same books there, but still. My personal favorites have been Atheists Who Kneel and Pray and Bad Mommy, which are 2 totally different vibes of books, but Atheists Who Kneel and Pray is a romance, if you can believe it or not, with that title, and it's one of my favorite romances of all time. Like, it's just so flippin' cute, and it takes place in Seattle, which is really cool because that's, you know, I live in Washington. And then Bad Mommy is actually a thriller novel. Honestly, this main character is like the female version of Joe Goldberg. Like, it's just so good. So these are my 2 favorites from Tarryn Fisher so far, but I would like to read a lot more from Tarryn Fisher. All right, my 5th favorite author is Rainbow Rowell, who I have read 5 books from this author. I've read almost all of her currently published books, I'm pretty sure. And of those published books, my #1 favorite without a doubt is Fangirl. It's like one of the only books that I actually own 2 copies of, that I actually like feel like I need 2 copies of, because it's one of my favorite books of all time. Like, it's up there in probably like the top 3 ever. This book just means so much to me, and because of this book alone, Rainbow Rowell has become one of my favorite authors ever. It seems like these days she's venturing a bit more into fantasy than contemporary, which makes me kind of sad because I love her contemporaries so much, but nothing will ever beat Fangirl. I just love this book so much. And if I had to choose a second favorite novel from this author, it would be Attachments, because this book is just so cute and it's so soft, and Lincoln and Beth are just like adorbs, and I love that it takes place in the 90s. I have very fond memories of this book because I finished reading it on the day that I turned 20, and it was just very like it was like a moment for me, you know? So I just have so many good memories with this book. I love it so much. My 6th favorite author is actually the first thriller author that's on this list, and that is Jewell, who I have read 4 books from. And without a doubt, my 2 favorites from Jewell are I Found You and Then She Was Gone. Both of these books are so amazing, and they're actually both kind of sad thrillers. Like, they're definitely character-driven thrillers, and you just care so much about the characters. So like, if that's not really your jam in a thriller, then I could see maybe you not liking these books. But Then She Was Gone is definitely a lot more sad and a little bit more predictable as far as thrillers go. But then I Found You is just so crazy and so sad, but like it's fast moving because like there's so many points of views in this book. Alright, the 7th author on this list is also a thriller author, and that is Peter Swanson. Y'all know how much I fucking love Peter Swanson, and I still think that my favorite from Peter Swanson is the first book that I ever read from him, which is The Kind Worth Killing. This one is just one of my favorite thrillers of all time. Like, it is just so good. Peter Swanson, once you read a lot of his books, you get to know his style, and he has this amazing habit of writing so many different points of views throughout the book, and the book will just randomly like change point of views from the main character like in the middle of the book, and you're like, wait, what? And it'll just like completely change the point of view, and then you're reading from somebody else for like a good chunk of the book, and then it'll change point of views again, and you're just like whiplash, and it's like, whoa. The Kind Worth Killing is definitely my favorite, but I think my second favorite would have to be All the Beautiful Lies, which I don't own a copy of, unfortunately, but that one is also really, really, really good. There hasn't been a book by him that I've read that I haven't liked. The only book that I haven't read yet is his debut novel, The Girl with a Clock for a Heart, or whatever it's called. That's the only one I haven't read, so out of all the ones that I've read all of his other published books, and I love them. Alright, the 8th author I have on this list is Brittany C Cherry, who I've read 6 books from. My personal favorites from her have got to be Loving Mr. Daniels. This one is just one of my favorites. It's a student-teacher romance, and it's just like super forbidden and just like one of the best ever. Like, the writing is so freaking good. It's beautiful. It makes you sob. Like, this book is sad as hell. And then my other favorite from her is The Gravity of Us, which this is actually the 4th book in a series technically, but they're all like standalone books just in a series. And this one's my favorite because it follows Graham, who's an author, and then it follows Lucy, who's this like florist. But I've liked most of Brittany C Cherry's work. Like, there have been a few that I'm like, but these two, oh, so good. All right, and the 9th author on this list is Elle Kennedy, who I have read 8 books from. Like, I didn't realize it was that much until I was adding them up, and then I was like, holy shit, that's a lot. And some of them were collaborations with Serena Bowen. By far, my favorite book from Elle Kennedy is Him, and this is a collaboration with Serena Bowen. Like, I understand that, but this one is my favorite. It's just so good, and this is my favorite male-male romance of all time. Second favorite from her is definitely The Deal, and mostly the entire off-campus series that this book is. This book is the first in a 4-book series, and I've read all 4 of the books, and this one's definitely my favorite out of the 4. I think this one and then the last one, The Goal, I think it's called, are my favorites in the series, but this whole series is just so good. It's so cute. And this one also follows hockey players, but this one is male-female romance, whereas this one is male-male romance. And the 10th author I have on this list, I've actually only read 2 books from because she has only published 2 books so far. But just from those 2 books alone, I already know that she's an all-time favorite author of mine, and that is Celeste Ng. The 2 books that I read from her are her 2 currently published books, which is Little Fires Everywhere and Everything I Never Told You, which I don't own a copy of, unfortunately, but these 2 books are just so freaking good, and her writing style is just so gorgeous. Like, she makes you care about every single character in her books. It's mostly contemporary, but it feels like just on the brink of like literary fiction. Maybe it is considered literary fiction, I don't really know. These books are so good, especially Little Fires Everywhere is my favorite book from her, and Everything I Never Told You is also really, really great, but Little Fires Everywhere though, oh my gosh, I am just highly anticipating for whenever she comes out with a new release, because I already know that she's one of my favorite authors, and I just love her writing so much. Those are all of my current favorite authors and all of my favorite books that they currently have published. That is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching as always, and as usual, let me know if you've read any of these books or if you've read any of these authors. Let me know if you also consider them to be some of your favorite authors, or let me know which books are your favorites from these authors. And I think I'm also gonna do like a kind of companion video to this about authors that I want to read more from. Like authors that I've only read 1 or 2 books from, but I love the author's writing so much and I want to read more of their books as soon as humanly possible. So I might be doing a video like that coming up sometime soon, so let me know if you would like to see that. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Later. Because this one is just one of my, oh. Alright, my sixth favorite author, oh my god.